start talking about the roundness of even some of the flow things that we do, so that you can understand how it fits in. So when we start to gather our energy, can you hear me? Oh, my microphone
Can you
fell.
hear me? I can't hear.
Yeah, my microphone fell down. I didn't notice that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Is
Oh,
that
that's
better?
much better.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. So, okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start doing is gathering our energy. So even when we gather our energy, we're going to be cognizant of the fact that we're not doing anything in a straight line. So as we inhale, we sort of do this kind of, I'm exaggerating this kind of motion with our hands, so they go up and around and down, just so that we don't move anything, and of course we bring everything into the middle of our Dan Chien. So let's just go through that one more time. So we're going to gather our energy, and I do it in, you don't really notice it because you don't have to make it that big, you just have to have that feeling, that intention. Okay, we're all into our Dan Chien. Inhale and exhale. Okay, let's get into beginning stance. So even this is not a straight line. So as you know, we're twisting by our pelvis as we go out, and then I don't know if you remember that affinity in the feet. So what's really happening here is that we're twisting in our pelvis and we're going out, and then the affinity is coming and bringing this toe around. So that's not a straight line. Okay?
Yes.
All right. All right. So as we come out into the beginning stance, this part of the beginning stance, I talked about concentrating on your lower Dan Chien, and even your lower Dan Chien is actually, and I'm gonna exaggerate, is going into a infinity. I'm totally exaggerating it because it's so small you don't necessarily see it. I'm trying to really exaggerate so you can understand what I'm saying. So you really, that's the energy. It doesn't have to be physical, but as you practice this back and forth, one day it'll click. If you keep pretending that it's going in that infinity, one day it's going to click, it's just going to do it, and you'll say, oh my. So even that's an infinity. All right, so now let's do upward, downward a few times. So when we go up, I'm going to do it, you stay where you are so you see me. But when we go up, this is a big circle as we go up. And as we come down, this is over the top, so there's no straight line. And when we come down, I don't know that you have noticed this for me, but I don't stop and I continue to go up. So you don't stop at the bottom and then start going up. You have a big loop at the top, and you actually have a loop at the bottom with your fingertips. It's not maybe as pronounced, but it's very different than just going down and then starting up. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So if you incorporate that feeling of that continuous movement, no straight line in your practice, you may connect to your energy earlier because that's what your energy is actually doing. Okay. All right, so now let's do a transition. Now this is pretty flowing, this inward outward, but it's very important, and again I'm going to go to the side so you can see this. It's very important that when you get to the bottom that the flow never stops, so that what happens is you come down, there's two ways to come down. You can come down this way like we've been doing and just coming here, but you tend to stop when you do that. A better way is to come down with your hands here, and as you get to the bottom, you rotate, you never stop. It's a, so palms are down, and you keep your palms so that they're coming like into the middle of Dan Chien, so you get there, and then you sort of like drop a little bit more. So you come in and you open up and let it come out again of your middle Dan Chien, your lower Dan Chien. So let's do that. So the hands come down, and then nothing has stopped. In fact, I continued to go down even as I was rotating my wrist. So I'm still moving down, 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 and I continue to, and then I'm starting to rise up. So they come in, so your hands are coming in, and then they go out immediately. So it's a little bit of this, but I'm exaggerating. So it's a subtle, but it's more concentration and focusing on your form by trying to keep everything rounded and smoothed out. So, okay. And then let's put all our weight on our left foot. Let's do raised hands. So when we go out with raised hands, we reach up. George even does something that I'm not comfortable with. What George does, and it doesn't mean that I'm wrong and he's right, because Master Liao does it even a third different way, is that when you go out, he sort of goes like this. Again, he comes out of his Dan Chien this way, and then he makes a bigger circle. Again, it's because nothing is straight. Okay, so let me start over again. So let's go out. I actually do that. That's just not as pronounced as George. Let's come straight forward. Okay, you saw did you go to Master Liao's class Sunday?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, he's really, okay, so he does this hug on, I don't know if you noticed that, rather than the ball. They're both right. I practiced all this week with the hug that Master Liao said we do, like that. Either way is okay. I just, maybe because I've been doing the other one for so long, I'm more comfortable in it. I feel it more. But either way's good. All right. So in raised hands, there's nothing really circular here, but because we never stop our motion, we have to be very careful that we're at our height here, and we're at our bottom, and then we immediately inhale out and inhale in. And the inhale out and the inhale in should be the same length of time. Okay, so let's do the transition. So we are, from here, we are going to get half the Tai Chi ball, and our toes points in, and then we're going to come around. Again, this is a big circular movement. Come in the front and sink. Where our hands are at our middle Dan Chien. This is now we go into Tai Chi stance, remember? So we go from raised hands to Tai Chi stance. You need to be up at your middle Dan Chien, which is up here. To do the Tai Chi stance is this. No, so your hands need to be opposite your heart, or right like an inch above your nipples, right in the center. So more like this, and your elbows down, Emily, that's what it is. Elbows sort of down. And the Tai Chi stance is straight out to the sides and back. Elbows down a little bit. Your hands, I think, are not up high enough. So this is the same position that the press is. You need to be right opposite your the middle of your chest. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Inhale out, exhale down. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more time. Inhale and exhale. So now we're going to do raised hands to the left. So put your weight on the right foot as you let out your energy. I'm sorry. Raised hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay. Inhale and exhale. So now let's do, okay, now remember this is, we take this over and we move our toe at the same time, and then we go behind us, our palm facing back, and sink here. Okay, let's go into, put your weight, we're going to go into backward single hand attaching. So put your weight on your left foot and step back with your right foot into single hand attaching. I just want you to move backwards without stopping. Okay, take another step back. Single hand attaching, good. And another step back and single hand attaching. Okay. You got your ball on your right side, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's go from here. Let's go single hand attaching. So let's go single hand push. We're going to, again, I have to move up a little bit. This, of course, is obviously round without a problem. It's continuous flow. There's no straight lines. When you get to the vertical, you don't want to stop here and go down. So what I have done, the vertical, I'm coming around and down. And then to the back. Okay, and when we want to reverse, and you know this already, we talked about it, we make a little loop here. And that's all part of the same no straight lines, everything in continuous flow, curved lines. Okay, and then the same thing here, we don't want to stop and start, so this is just a flow to horizontal. Nice and easy. Okay, let's change door into ward off. So, into ward off, and let's do ward off, roll back, press, push. So this right here, when we go up, this, if you can't just stop here and start gathering your energy. So when we go up, this has to stay in a circle though. So what happens when we ward off, and this goes up and you're catching the ball, it just doesn't stop. It's sort of, and I'm exaggerating, it goes like that. Okay, so ward off, roll back. This is a bit of a, you'll start feeling, and then this doesn't stop right here like I have asked you to do. So what happens is this is going to go, and when you start, you drop this hand and you start collecting your energy, this hand is now facing back. This should have, you want to start imagining or feeling a lot of power in this hand. And this is projecting backwards. So let me go over that again. So we have ward off, roll back in a bit of an arc, you come back, the stage just keeps going, and then it starts collecting, and this is projecting. You get a lot of energy, then you bring this whole ball in front of your middle Dan Chien, and then you press, and then you, of course, you push, and that is obviously, there's no straight line there. So let's try that on the other hand. So change door, do ward off, roll back, and I'm sort of exaggerating this. Continuing to inhale and gathering your energy. You've got your ball, you're bringing it in front of you, and then you are pressing it and push. And roll back, press, push. Now, let's come to center. And if you need to step back, do it in, no. Okay, what I would like you to do in your practice is that we're always in TaiChi. So if we have to step back, the easiest way to do it, you know how you step out with single hand attaching? we're in here, you can step back and single hand attaching. You can take a step back and single hand attaching, you know, just at that spot, just so that you are where you need to be. Okay, so continuous flow. So the next form I want to talk about, the actual rollback form, and to keep from going forward, when you're going to do a ward off here, you can step back, same thing, or change door, just so that you stay in the same spot. Okay, so now we're going to do the regular ward off. So the same thing, this has got a circle, but you bring that straight, it's got a little bit of circle, you bring it straight back, and then it's a little bit of a, I can't describe it, it's just a little bit of a fling there. Wait a minute, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm thinking of so many things. Okay, roll back, you come straight back, and then you are, of course, doing your sky becomes earth, earth becomes sky. And I've had you sink, but the idea really is just to get the feeling. You don't want to really sink and stop. The sinking is an energy that you need to feel. So now there is no push this way, because what we did is we just collected the energy and we've got it, and we can bring that straight back, and then it keeps on going. There's no straight lines here, and it's a energy sink, but you don't stop. Your motion doesn't stop. It's hard to describe it. Okay, so we're going to gather all our energy, and we're going to bring it forward, and now we're going to bring it straight back. And then when we come here, this of course is we're changing sides. And we don't want to stop here. We want to just bring it back like we were, because now we're going to change door and do another ward off, and then of course you could do it in the other direction. So let's just do it, the whole thing. This all just makes your whole practice flow evenly, because you are not stopping and starting, you're not changing direction abruptly. Nothing stops, it just flows. Okay, let's do it one more time. Gather our energy. Just letting our coming around, come straight back, and go into beginning stance. Okay. I should know these by heart. Oh, I want to talk about press, because the press is also everything in a circle. So when we get into just doing press forward, we do by getting into single hand attaching, but we bring up this extra ball. We bring up this extra hand here to face. All right, so when we are compressing into a slow spot and expanding, we're going straight forward and straight back. Don't forget, this hand doesn't move. So we are compressing this way and inhaling this way. There's no stopping, because what's happening is how do I describe this? So the energy is totally compressed to a point, and then it totally expands till it can't get any further. But and so it's like the pulsating of a heart. It's not that we're stopping. There's no turning in this. This is just a press. You'll see what I mean. Let me go to the TaiChi ball practice, because there's a lot in the TaiChi ball practice to talk about, and I'll get back to press. So when we bring out a copy of our TaiChi ball and we compress it and pull it out, what's actually happening here, of course it's all imaginary, but the energy is not just expanding and contracting. The energy is spinning, actually in all directions. So it's totally spinning in there. I don't really feel that spin, but it's happening, and so I keep imagining that it's spinning. So when we do the vertical, you've got this ball that's spinning. So you don't just stop at the top and then go this way. So what happened is you do a little bit of this, because the ball is twisting. And when you start getting, and I'm going to exaggerate. No, let me exaggerate it. So you're going to spin it. So I'm really exaggerating now. But you want to get that spin at the top of the ball. And another thing that comes into play on this, which is really interesting when you start really playing with this, is that energy, that infinity on your feet is happening. It's just automatically happening. It goes from heel to toe to the other side, from heel to toe, the other side. I'm super exaggerating this so you can see it. In fact, it's actually so small that you hardly see it at all, but it doesn't hurt to practice it, exaggerate it, so you start getting the feel of it. Okay, another time that this spinning ball comes into play is when we go to left side, right side. So let's take our ball to our right side. So when you get here, the ball just doesn't stop, it's spinning. So what happens is you're going to get a little bit of spin as you turn it around, and you're going to get a little bit of spin before you bring it back. So again, I'm going to exaggerate so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's okay to practice it exaggerated as you're trying to feel it and imagine it. Imagine it so that you can feel it. That was not a good one because I didn't have my palm directly underneath. Okay, now I feel it. I dropped the ball there. All right, now let's do the split. So when you go to split this ball, you're going to compress it, inhale as you go out, and as you're bringing it back, and this hand is attached and it's following, as you bring it back, it doesn't just stop here. It actually can spin before you compress. So I'm going over a lot of these fast, but I think you'll get the idea when you start to practice them, that you get this little spin. And that's one reason why you need to step out when you compress, and I'll tell you why. So let's do this on a side change door. Because as you step, you'll start feeling the spin sometimes going all the way to the back and come forward. Can't do that when your feet are just in a beginning stance. This is important also when we do brush knee twists. You'll see it in that. Okay, so let me think what else. Okay, let's bring it back to center. All right. When I've talked about this, when we bring the ball up, and we want to go up, this and go down. This is a circular motion. Your wrists have to be really, really, really relaxed, because what's happening, if you notice, my wrists are like being pulled up by my wrist here, and then it's like, and sometimes you might want to go out as you come down and up as you come in, or go out and in. It doesn't matter. The idea is that you have this round. You don't just go straight up and straight down and straight up and straight down. So when we do the flow, which we'll do later, but I want to talk through you now. So we do the flow. where we are on one side, and then we come up. Even that halfway up, when you come down, let it be a bit of a loop up there. And you come over, and it circles a little bit, come down. Sometimes you might see me do this, because before I go down, I circle a little bit, because that's what I feel the energy doing. And then up, round. I'm circling up, and then I'm bringing it a little bit closer to me. And now I'm going to the side, I'm letting that circle. And then when I come down, I generally go down and then up a little bit closer. You probably haven't seen that because I haven't pointed it out, but even when you go down, that's also a bit of a chugga 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 chugga, like a choo-choo train. Okay. Let's see, grass sparrow's tail. The long and shorthand is obviously, okay. So I'm going to spend a little time on single whip and show you where this is also true in single whip. But I want to talk about the single whip stance itself, a little bit more detail. And I don't have my watch on, so I don't have the time. Okay, so let's take out our left single hand whip and go to your right wall and pull. So when we pinch the universe and we pull and we come forward, imagine you pinch the universe, but also imagine you've got the whole copy of the universe. You've got the universe in that hand. So we go. So the universe, this is pushing you, pushing you, pushing you till you can't go any further. Then it pushes your elbow till it can't go any further, and then you go out 45 degrees. So you've got that universe in that hand. This doesn't move, and then you are going to do a little bit. So this comes out. This, you have the other ball that you've been holding here. So a copy of the ball comes out. It's going to go up and over, and then you are set yourself. And then what happens as you exhale and you split? This is a split form. You're going to go like this. This doesn't move. Actually, it's the energy here that is sort of like driving you forward. You won't feel that, but you sort of imagine it. So what I want you to add to this practice here is that you have this energy that you've pushed out. You gather it up and you bring it back. I think Master talked about this a little bit, to fuse this into one. And you can actually play around with it a little bit, try to feel it, it's one. And then you're going to split it, and then it's going to go as you very close to your body, but don't touch your body, come all the way across, and then imagine it's going out your arm and out by your wrist. And then you want to bring it back again, fuse, and then split. And what should be happening, or imagine it's happening, is every time you do this, totally relaxed, you are putting more and more power into that ball of energy in your whip hand. And you can do this as much as you want. The idea, the reason why it's really, let's go to the other side. The reason why it's really good to practice this is because if you want to have healing power in that whip hand, you've got to have that energy in that whip hand. So whip hand is my word. I don't think you'll find it written anywhere in Master Liao's books. So this is a really good. And I ended up practicing a lot this week, because I had a second pneumonia shot. There's a new pneumonia shot out that the doctor gave me. Let's come to center. And let me tell you, this arm, he told me it would be sore. It was so sore, I couldn't, if I rolled over it at night, I woke up in agony and pain. I actually yelled out. And
Oh my.
It still hurts a little bit. So I spent a lot of time this week on this form and doing this and rotate and spending a lot of time here until I actually, I don't know, I imagined it and I finally felt a little bit of heat there and then went out. So, because this also has a lot of energy, obviously. Oh, and notice one thing too. I'm sorry, Emily, I just do this so naturally. When this comes in, my toe comes in because it's attached. And then as it goes out, my toe goes back out. So your stance is your toe comes in, and then you want to have your toe face the wall, face where you're reaching out. Okay. So that's all of single whip is circular. There's no really stop there. Okay. Let's go right to stork spread swing and brush knee twist step. So let's do stork spread wings first. And I'll talk about the circular motion as well in that. So we start stork spread wings in single hand attaching. So let's put your weight on your left foot and step out with your right, well, I'm sorry. Let's put your weight on your left foot and step out with your still left foot. I don't know. Did I do that wrong? Anyway, here we go. All right, so we're in single hand attaching. So what you want to do is your front hand and your front foot is going to go into this position. So what you've done right here is you've taken all this energy that's out here in the palm of your hand, the single hand attaching, you're bringing that energy into this position, this here. And you have a bit of a contraction as you go down, and then you're going to pull up, and this was one. This is one ball, and then this becomes a split form. So, okay, so let's go over that again. You've got your single hand attaching hand and that foot that's forward. They both come back. So this is actually you're off weighted. There's no weight to speak of on this foot. You just got your toe. Okay, this is like ward off. You're in the same position as ward off. So this has got to be across your body. This hand has to be down. Your right hand. Is your right hand down?